Hey guys, today I'll be showing you guys how to do sum and difference formulas. So before we get started, these are the 6 equations that you'll need to know in order to complete the questions. Now here's a real-world application of the sum and difference formulas. You're lying next to the pool in a lawn chair. You want to figure out what the angle is at the bottom of your lawn chair to the ground. You take out the protractor and do a quick measurement. The angle is 75 degrees. Now it's not over. You decide to plug it into a sum and difference formula for sine. So now let's do our first practice problem. Find the exact value of cosine of 75 degrees using the fact that 75 degrees equals 30 degrees plus 45 degrees. So with this given information, we're going to put it into this form right here. Cosine of 75 equals the cosine of 30 degrees plus 45 degrees. Now with that, we're going to plug it into one of our sum and difference formulas, which will actually be the cosine of A plus B. So we could do equals cosine of 30 degrees cosine 45 degrees minus the sine of 30 degrees and sine of 45. Okay, so now with the unit circle, we know that the cosine of 30 degrees is root 3 over 2, and the cosine of 45 degrees is root 2 over 2. And we know that sine of 30 degrees is 1 over 2, and the sine of 45 degrees is root 2 over 2. Okay, so now we multiply these together, and we get root 6 over 4 minus root 2 over 4, which equals root 6 minus root 2 over 4, or 0.6. So now here's a u-try problem. Alright, so we have sine of u plus v given that sine of u equals 4 over 5, where u is greater than 0 but less than pi over 2, and cosine of v equals negative 12 over 13, where v is greater than pi over 2 but less than pi. With that information, we know that we have to use equation number 1, which is sine of a plus b equals sine of a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. Okay. Okay, so now what we have to do is draw a triangle based on where the unit circle tells us to draw it. So with this being said, that sine of u equals 405, where u is greater than 0 but less than pi over 2. So we have to draw a little graph, and we know that pi over 2 is here and 0 is here, and u is in the middle. So we draw a triangle just like that. And now we know that theta is right there, so the sine is 4 over 5, which is opposite over hypotenuse, and this is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So now we know that sine of u equals 4 over 5, and cosine u equals 3 over 5. Okay. So now we have to find the sine and cosine of where pi over 2, or where v is greater than pi over 2 but less than pi. So we'll draw another triangle, and we know that pi over 2 is here and pi is here, and the triangle goes in the middle, so that we know that the cosine is negative 12 over 13, which is adjacent, adjacent over hypotenuse. And now this is a 5, 12, 13 triangle. Alright, so the sine is 5 over 13, and the cosine is negative 12 over 13. Sorry for the tight space. Okay, so now we plug it into our formula. So now we have the sine of u, which is 4 over 5, times the cosine of v, which is negative 12 over 13, plus the cosine of u, which is 3 over 5, times the sine of v, which is 5 over 13. And now we just multiply them. So this comes out to be negative 48 over 65. And this is 15 over 65. Now we add them up, which equals out to be negative 33 over 65. And that is your answer.